Renantis on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show. We are joined here with General Flynn, Andrew Sorcini, Thomas Rins, yourself, Phil Hotzenpiller. We're talking about executive order I have over here. Executive order 14067.
Twisted.
Executive order 14067. And we're asking the question is, does freedom end specifically on December 13th, 2022, when you have the introduction of programmable digital currency? This is called specifically central bank digital currency. Everybody grab a pen and a pad, look up Executive Order 14067. And because all right, Thrive Nation, today's show is going to be a blasty blast. It's going to be a show where I encourage everyone to grab a pen and a pad and to really dive in and assume that what I'm saying is not accurate. Assume that what I'm saying is not accurate. Assume that what I'm saying is just hoo-ha, that it's just me trying to freak you out, that I'm just trying to throw out things for media hype. Assume all that kind of stuff, and then write down Executive Order 14067. Executive Order 14067. And my question that I have for everybody listening is December 13th, 2022, the day that freedom dies? Again, I repeat, is December 13th, 2022, the day that freedom dies? And so to break down the news of the day and this Executive Order 14067, we're joined by Phil the Thrill Hotzenpiller from Influence Church, General Flynn, Andrew Sorcini with bh-pm.com, and attorney Thomas Rins. General Flynn, first off, sir, I know you and I have talked offline. Let's talk about this Executive Order. This Executive Order
14067. 14067.
Okay,
it is. Yeah, we got to pull it up there, and there's been some things written about it. Executive Order 14067, and there it is. Good. So, ensuring responsible development of digital assets. Yep, that's it.
If we go to Section 4 of this document, I encourage everyone to go there. I think that when you read it yourself, you'll have a certain epiphany of what they planned for us here. But let me go ahead and hit play. This is Joe Rogan interviewing a guest about this new digital currency system. Okay, let me hit play here.
Do you feel like you're sounding the alarm
Yes.
for people that don't understand what the is going on?
So here, I'll pull it up for you here. Yeah. So there's the video.
Yeah.
I don't know if your camera can see that, but
No.
there's the video. There's him speaking about it.
The G7 is launching a set of public policy principles for retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies could be a digital version of money, a bit like a digital banknote that could be used alongside physical notes and coins. Unlike most of the digital money people use daily today, it would be issued directly by a central bank, like the Bank of England in the UK.
Right, so that's the guy who runs our economy in the UK. His name's the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And here is the article. Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming. Yeah. And here's a quote from the article. This is in the Telegraph, the one he pulled up, but it was behind a paywall. So I'll just read the quote. Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible.
Oh.
I'm going to take it one step further for you, Joe, right? So the vaccine passport infrastructure is in place, but now we know that the vaccine doesn't stop infection or transmission, but the checkpoint Charlie exists everywhere. They bring in digital banking, central banking, digital currencies. You've got a scenario now that you're checking in and out everywhere you go using vouchers that are programmed, and you can only spend where you're told you can spend them. There's another word for that, man. That's called the Chinese social credit system. That's what it's called. And anyone who watches Black Mirror will know what I'm talking about. That's that TV show, right?
Yeah.
General Flynn, you've read this document thoroughly. So have I. What do you feel like the listeners need to know about Executive Order 14067? And I'll put a link to it on today's show notes.
Well, number one, we need to continue to keep talking about this particular executive order as we've discussed other aspects of the executive orders that have come out of this White House. The second thing is that the implementation of this has already begun, and it will actually really kick into high gear approximately December timeframe. I think there's actually some dates in the order itself that are addressed. I think it's the December timeframe. What it does, what people need to know is it directs the United States Treasury, okay, the U.S. Treasury, and in coordination with the Department of Labor, the Secretary of Labor. So this is really an impactful two organizations, Treasury and Labor, right? I mean, our entire sort of our monetary shift and our employee base in this country. And then what they call other relevant agencies, right? Other relevant agencies, which means every single agency, activity, and department in the United States government. They are going to report to the president in terms of the implementation of this, the implications. So I'm gonna read this specifically. The implications of development and adoption of digital assets and changes in the financial market and payment system. I mean, this is a very, very, probably one of the most significant changes in U.S. monetary policy since 1971.
Yep.
And the difficulty is, Clay, and I think for people to understand is, it doesn't really address in there the grandfathering of other financial assets, right? Money primarily. It doesn't talk about that. So if you have $1 million in the bank, invested in the bank somewhere or in some investment, and they change to this digital currency, this what they call this central bank digital currency, which the Federal Reserve will actually create, it doesn't really address what will happen to that. Does that mean that there's going to be a percentage loss? Is everybody going to have 6 months to change to a digital currency? It doesn't really talk about that. It just directs that the government begin implementation of this. So it's very, very interesting. And I think that what we need to do is we really do need to start talking about this and start breaking down. And I'm doing this in my own way through some financial experts that I do know to get smarter on it. Because when I saw not only that clip on Joe Rogan, but I watch all the executive orders coming out of the government. This particular one, of all the executive orders that have been forced down the American people's throats, this particular one is the one that caught my attention the most, because it has the potential effect of changing our financial system in the United States of America for the first time in, 40, 50 years.
And just for clarity, this executive order was signed on March 9th of 2022 by Joe Biden. And this, let's just role play this out for a situation. Let's just say that Joe Biden were to come out and to say, hey, moving forward, everybody, you can say whatever you want to say on social media. Everybody's unbanned. You can say whatever you want to say. However, we're now going to implement this new system. And again, folks, put it in your calendar, take notes. If he says, we're going to implement this on December 13th of 2022. Mm-hmm. Well, then, you're out there freely saying what you want to say over there at Influence Churchville. You're saying what you want to say. Mm-hmm. And next thing the staff, they said, the staff says, Phil, your payment for the bagels got denied. You bought bagels for some of the church members today and it got denied. And they're saying your account's frozen. And you go, oh, it's okay, I'll pay cash. I'm sure there's something wrong with the card. And they don't take cash anymore because this is all part of this central bank digital currency. It's a Cbdc system. Phil, from a biblical perspective, what is happening?
Well, I think one thing that's interesting before I jump into Revelation is that there's not the 87,000 IRS agents, I think, are going to be the enforcement arm on this new digital currency. That's really what's happening. These are the brown shirts under Adolf Hitler. That's what's happening. What you see in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, which might have seemed bizarre to people even 5 years ago, now looks like it's on our doorstep. And it tells us in Revelation 13 that the beast, who's also the Antichrist, will work under the power and the authority of Satan himself. He will implement exactly what you're talking about here. It says here in verse 15 and 16, he causes both the small, the great, the rich, the free, the slave to receive a mark on their right hand, on their forehands, that no one may buy or sell except the one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let he who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. The number is like the number of man, 666. So what we see here is a direct application of restricting what I buy, what I sell, thus the social scorecard that was mentioned on Rogan's show. That's the idea that, if I have cash, I have freedom. So they're eliminating freedom. They've got an enforcement arm now. So the 87,000 agents that are added, this was a plan back in March.
Yeah. It's
Now,
absolute control.
these IRS agents, Renz, I want to get your take on this. So I'll pull this up here. And I think the mindset I want to have is I want to say, well, the Internal Revenue Service cares so much, Aaron, to make sure that you and I and Thomas Renz, we don't pay too much in taxes.
Oh, they're so careful.
They brought in these 80,000 plus agents, and they've said, listen, you guys are like the customer service department of the American, the American Republic. And I want you guys to get out there and make sure that our taxpayers aren't paying too much money.
Make sure they're taken care of.
And a lot of the taxpayers are being taken advantage of. So we want you guys to have bullets to represent the people. So that way a tyrannical government, not us, can't possibly take advantage of people. So we want you guys to have guns. We want you to be physically fit. We want you to be willing to work 50 hours a week because you work for the American people. And we need you 80,000 people to be willing to engage in acts of violence if need be, to stop the deep state from taking advantage of the American people.
We're the government,
so
and we're here.
I watch all the executive orders coming out of the government. This particular one, of all the executive orders that have been forced down the American people's throats, this particular one is the one that caught my attention the most, because it has the potential effect of changing our financial system in the United States of America for the first time in, 40, 50 years.